So, students, now let us start the new chapter on improper integrals. Improper integrals. Okay? So, in 12th standard, already you have seen what is an integration, and you have also seen how to solve the integrations of different types. You have seen there indefinite integrals and definite integrals. Indefinite integrals means the integrations without the limits of integration. Okay? These we were calling as indefinite integrals. And definite integrals means where the limits of integrations are given. That means from a to b. Here the function fx inside we will call as integrand. Integrand. This is known as integrand. Okay? And a and b are known as the limits of integration. A is known as lower limit and b is known as an upper limit. Okay? And dx is just simply the symbolic representation. That means we are integrating the function f with respect to x. With respect to x. That means when we are integrating with respect to x, all the quantities other than x will be considered as constants. And a and b are what? They are nothing but the values of x. Actually these are nothing but x equal to a to x equal to b. So this kind of integration you have seen at your school level. So the integrations we are called as integrals. Here we want to study about an improper integral. So let us see what is an improper integral. Improper integral means that the integrations in which there are two points, lower and or upper limits are plus or minus infinity. That means if this limit or both a and b are infinity or minus infinity, then the integration is known as improper integral. Second thing is that if f of x is discontinuous, within the interval a to b, closed interval, this is the closed interval, that means it includes the points a and b. So, if the function f of x is discontinuous at a or b or between any point of a and b, then also we will call this integral as an improper integral. That means in this case what can we say? Fx becomes unbounded or infinite at some point a less than or equal to c less than or equal to b. That means at some point c where a less than or equal to c less than or equal to b. So if it is become unbounded or infinite, then we say that this is discontinuous. Then also we say that the integration is improper integration. Okay? So in these two cases, once again, if a or b or both are infinity or minus infinity, we say that the integration is improper integral. or otherwise if the function fx, that means integral, is unbounded or infinite at some point c between a and b, we say that the integration is improper integral. Okay, so the integrals which are not improper are known as proper integrals. So in 12th standard you have not seen this kind of integrals, improper integrals. So here we want to discuss and think about an improper integral. Okay, so suppose here the integrations are very simple. Just we want to know that these improper integrals can have the values or can have not the values. Not the values means if they gives the values infinity or minus infinity, then we say that they are improper integral. Suppose here one example is there, 1 to infinity x e raised to minus x dx. So here you can see that this integration is an improper integral because the upper limit is infinite. Okay, if I will consider minus infinity to 2 x square dx, then this is also an improper integration because the lower limit is minus infinity. If I will consider minus infinity to infinity to 1 upon x plus 2, this is also an improper integral because the both the limits are minus infinity and infinity. Then here one thing you got that those integrals whose lower limit or upper limit or both are infinite are known as improper integrals. Improper integrals of first kind. Okay, you must note that. So all these integrals are of first kind. Now let us see improper integrals of second kind. That means obviously, as I explained you initially, that the improper integrals are those for which the function f of x becomes discontinuous at some of the points between a and b. So in this case we say that these are the improper integrals of second kind. Suppose let us see one example, 0 to 2, 1 upon x dx. So here you can see that the limits are not infinite, but you can see here the range is from 0 to 2. So if you put 1 upon 0 here, x equals 0, 1 upon 0 becomes infinite. That means it is not bounded. So we say that this integration is an improper integration of second kind. As another example, let us see 0 to 4, 1 upon x minus 2 dx. So here you can see that at x equal to 0 it is defined because minus 1 upon 2 by putting x equal to 0. If we put x equal to 4, we get 1 upon 4 minus 2, that is 1 up, it is again defined. But we know that the range is from 0 to 4. And we know that between 0 and 4, there lies one number 2. So if we put here x equal to 2, between 0 and 4 there lies number 2. So if we put x equal to 2 here, then it will becomes 1 upon 0, that is infinite. So it is unbounded. So this integration is also an improper integral. Okay? You must note here that this integration is also known as an improper integral. Okay? So here, so in these cases, in such cases, and these integrals are improper integrals of second kind. Okay? If you solve the integrals directly of this kind without knowing that it is improper integral or not, then there are some problems arising. Because if you solve directly this, then sometimes this answer of this integration may come or not come. However, actually it is there. Okay? And we will see all these things by considering examples. Because suppose we solve this example, you know that the integration of 1 upon x is minus 1 upon x. So its integration is minus 1 upon x minus 2, 0 to 4. So if we put here 4, x equal to 4, then 4 minus 2 is 2, so minus 1 half. Then if we put 0, lower limit, then one more minus sign will come. And here again a minus sign is there, so minus minus plus. And if we put here x equal to 0, then 1 upon 0 minus 2, that means 1 upon minus 2. That means it is minus 1 half. So it is minus 1. So here you can see that the answer is minus 1. But this, why? Because we have not considered this case. That means we have not considered the case of that it is improper integral of second kind. Okay? So actually this answer may be wrong. This answer may be wrong. Sometimes it may be right, but we cannot say exactly, we cannot say surely that this answer is right, because we know that here at x equal to 2 this function is unbounded. Okay, so here we will see different type of solving procedure to solve this kind of example. Also we will see different types of techniques to solve this kind of integrals. Okay, so improper integrals are very easy to solve, but we cannot solve them directly. We will have to follow some special criteria, and this criteria is not difficult, simply you require some understanding. And now let us see this kind of understandings, how to develop them. So suppose we are first we consider improper integrals of first kind, in which suppose the integration is of this type. That means the lower limit is a and upper limit is infinity. So it is an improper integral of first kind. So without solving it directly, we will have to consider its limiting position. That means this integral we need to write down in limiting sense. That means here the problem arises due to infinity only. Okay. So to avoid this, just we will write down here t instead of infinity, and here we will write down this as t tends to infinity. So ultimately this problem will become same, but here we have removed infinity and this we have placed in the form of limit. That is limit of this integration as t tends to infinity. Okay, are you understanding? Simply you will have to write down here t tends to infinity f of x dx. Okay, then we will have to integrate this function and then to find out the limit. So here if the limit exists, limit exists, that means if the value is obtained, proper value, that means other than infinity or minus infinity, if we get some proper value, then we say that the limit exists. And if the limit exists, then we say that suppose we denote this by I, then we say that I is convergent. I is convergent. Okay. So here again we want to study actually otherwise, and if limit does not exist, if limit does not exist, we say that I is divergent. So see, here we want to see these two types, convergent and divergent. Okay. So here in improper integration, whatever we want to see, the value, we will not focus on the value, which kind of the value is there. Just we want to focus on that whether the integration is convergent or divergent. And as in Taylor series and Maclaurin series, I explained to you about whether the series is divergent or convergent. Okay? Convergent series are useful to us. That means we can apply convergent series in different kinds of applications. So as in different kinds of application, after getting some proper solution, we can interpret our solution properly, and hence we can utilize the result in real sense. But if then same kind of situation we can apply for this integration also. That means integration can be convergent or divergent. That means if the integration is divergent, that means we are not getting some proper idea. That means we cannot interpret the result properly, whichever we have obtained in our research work or in some application area. So that means if the integration is divergent, then we cannot proceed further. We can have some problem in our research work. That means there requires some more assumptions or some more modifications in our problem. So we can modify our problem so as to get some convergent integral. And if convergent integral is there, then we can apply this, because convergent integrals gives us proper idea to interpret our result. And if we interpret the result, then we can use them in real sense. So here we will focus improper integrals on the two things, convergent and divergent. So if during the solution, if we get some proper value, we say that it is convergent. If we will not get its proper value, that means proper value means we will not get proper value means if we get some plus infinity or minus infinity as an answer, then we say that it is divergent. Okay? And sometimes, in some cases, here you remember that sometimes in some cases, if we are focusing on divergent and convergent. Yes, if the value is not there, value of the integration is not there, but if simply we can understand whether it is convergent or divergent by using some other facts or some other ideas, then also it will do. Okay, so we want to study this kind of situation. Similarly, suppose if we have I equal to minus infinity to b f of x dx, then it is also an improper integral of second kind. So yes, here the lower limit is minus infinity. So here to solve this, we can again convert this in terms of t to the minus infinity, and here t we have replaced by minus infinity, so t tends to infinity f of x dx. So we can solve the integration in this way. भाई ना टाइम के तो क्यों से टाइम लगा है 19 મિનિટ है એટલે મારે હજુ 20 મિનિટ કાઢવાની આના પર આવો છે. So now let us see one example. Simple example we will consider. Suppose we want to solve. Actually in examination also there will be simple examples, but in hurry you don't solve this directly without looking at the example and without understanding the example, because this chapter has also the weightage of 4 to 6 marks. At least one example always comes in your examination. So once if you will understand the concept, then everything is very simple to solve. Here we can see that infinity is there. Without looking this, first focus on the limits. So here it is infinity, so it is an improper integral. So to solve this, we will start this by writing limit 5 to t. Here we will write down t tends to infinity. Here 1 upon x cube means minus x raised to minus 3 dx. So integration of x raised to minus 3 is now, what is the integration? X raised to n has the integration. What is the integration? X raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. So it has the integration x raised to minus 3 plus 1 divided by minus 3 plus 1. That means x raised to minus 2 upon minus 2. That means it is minus 1 upon 2 x there. And it is 5 to t. Okay. So this equal to, just I am continuing over here, limit t tends to infinity. First we will put the upper limit t, 1 upon 2 t square. So we are putting replacing x only by t because we have integrated this by x. So these are the values of x. Then we will put lower limit. Due to lower limit, 1 minus sign will come. So minus minus will become plus, and here 1 upon 2 pi square means 2 into 25. Pi square means 25. So now if we put here t limit now, then 1 upon t square means 1 upon infinity, but 1 upon infinity is 0. So it is 0, and it is 1 upon 25 to 2, see 50. So 1 upon 50. So the answer has some proper value. So we will write down that therefore the integration I is convergent. So finally you will have to write down this thing, because in examination you will be asked to check whether the integration is convergent or divergent. Then you will have to use this kind of idea. Now let us see one more example. Suppose 3 to infinity 1 upon x raised to minus 2 dx. Okay. So here again we can see that it is an improper integral. So we will write down limit here 3 to t. Here whatever the value is, 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, no problem will be there. T tends to infinity, and it is x square dx. So we will have the integration of x square is x cube by 3, and this already you know. So we will put, the examples are very simple, no doubt. T cube by 3, first we put t here, then minus 3 we will put, so 3 cube by 3, that means 3 square. 3 square means minus 9. So if we put here infinity, now limit, if we find out limit, t cube means infinity cube, so it is infinity. Infinity minus 9 is again infinity, because 9 is negligible value comparable to infinity, the symbol, because it is showing that it is very large. Here it is limiting sense, so we have written it as equal. Otherwise, if we write down f of x equal to 1 upon x minus 2, and then if we want to find out 1 upon 2, then 2 minus 2 is 0. So we cannot write this equal to infinity. We can write this as infinity tends to infinity, because infinity never is equal to something. Okay, so it is limit, so we are writing here equal. So you must have understood this fact. Okay. Now let us see one more example. Have you understood this example? Okay. So you also write parallelly with me whenever I am explaining to you. So if you will write parallelly with me, then you will get complete idea, and you will be confident, well confident with the examples and with the methods and with the techniques. Okay. So 1 upon x square plus 1 dx. So first of all, identify this example. It is an improper integral. So actually here this function will be very simple. You can integrate them very easily. So it is an improper integral. So limit 0 to t here. So t tends to infinity. 1 upon x square plus 1 dx. So here you know the integration of 1 upon x square plus 1 is what? Tan inverse x. Okay? Integration, and you always write down in this manner, equal then equal. You don't write down in this way, equal, here equal, here equal. This is not a proper way. It looks bad. And one more thing you have to remember that whenever implies or therefore is required, you always use this kind of symbols in mathematics, because this reflects good impression for you. So now limit t tends to infinity. Now we put the values. Bracket you always use. Tan inverse t x equal to t minus tan inverse 0. Okay, tan inverse 0. So now we will put the values. Infinity, tan inverse infinity. So we know that tan becomes infinity at pi by 2, and tan also becomes at 0. So its value is pi by 2. So now we don't require to write down limit, because we are putting the value directly, and tan inverse infinity is pi by 2 and tan inverse 0 is 0. So it is pi by 2. So therefore we say that I is convergent because its value is obtained, and we are mainly used to focus on convergent or divergent. Okay, so its answer is convergent. Now let us see one theorem. Whose proof we will not see, because proof is not asked in the examination. That means the integration a to infinity 1 upon x raised to p dx. Here in the function is generalized now. 1 upon x raised to p, where p is constant. Is 1 convergent if p greater than 1, and 2 is divergent if p less than or equal to 1. Okay, so here the first example we have seen for 1 upon x cube, I think 1 upon x cube, and we have seen that 1 upon x cube this integration was convergent because there p equal to 3 means it is greater than 1, so it is convergent. The second example also we have seen of x raised to 1 upon x raised to minus 2, there p equal to minus 2, and minus 2 means p less than or equal to 1, and we have seen that this integration was divergent. So here it is the general result for 1 upon x raised to p, whether it is 1 upon x raised to 5, x raised to 7, x raised to 10, or x raised to minus 7, x raised to 1 upon x raised to minus 3, whatever it is, we can directly say that if p greater than 1, it is convergent, and if p less than or equal to 1, it is divergent. And you must remember, we will not see its proof. Proof is not important, only this result is important. So you must remember this result, because we will make this result to use to solve different kinds of examples. So this will be used broadly to solve other kinds of examples where we can check the convergency of the examples simply. Okay, so you must note down this theorem. and this is also known as, this theorem is also known as horizontal p-test. Horizontal p-test. Okay, this theorem is also known as horizontal p-test or horizontal p-integral test. You can also write down p-test or p-integral. Horizontal p-integral. Here it is horizontal p-integral because in the improper integrals of second type we will also see one more theorem of this type, where we will see vertical p-integral. Vertical p-integral. And here one thing you note that this theorem is applicable only if a greater than 0. A greater than 0. Because if a less than or equal to 0, we cannot apply this theorem. We cannot apply this theorem directly. Then we need to integrate in a proper way by using proper appropriate method. So it is possible only if a greater than 0. That means if we have a greater than 1 to infinity, 1 upon x raised to 7dx, we say that it is convergent. It is convergent. Okay. If we write down here minus 7, it is divergent. Okay. It is divergent. That means no need to know what is the value of this integration. We can say directly it is convergent or divergent. And if it is convergent, then we can find out the value of the integration by using any method. There are lots of methods, but here instead of, once again you remember that instead of knowing the value of this integration, we will try to focus on whether it is convergent or divergent. Okay. So you must understand this thing. Now let us see another example. So you must remember this. Another example, evaluate integration of minus infinity to 0 x e raised to x dx. So here we can see that it is also an improper integral because lower limit is minus infinity. So here we will convert this into the form of t. Wherever minus infinity is there, we will write out t, and so here t tends to minus infinity. X e raised to x dx. Okay, and now we will integrate this one. So it is the function of product of two functions, and you must be knowing the integration of u into v dx is u into v1 minus u dash into v2 plus u double dash into v3 minus u triple dash into v4. This is a one-step integration. One-step integration. That is actually integration by part. Integration by part, but this is the one-step integration. But this one-step integration is applicable only if u is x or x square or any power of x. That means u equal to x raised to n. So here, out of the two functions, we know that u is x. We will consider u as x and v as e raised to x, because here u dash, u double dash. This dash denotes the derivative. Dash denotes derivative. And v1, v2, v3, that means this subscripts shows integration. Okay, so dashes means derivatives and the subscripts 1, 2, 3 means integration. So here in the integration, first we will keep u as it is. See here, u as it is, and v1. v1 means the integration of v1. That means integration of e raised to x is itself. Minus the derivative of x, it is 1, and integration again. If one term is written, then the other terms can be written directly from the first one. And here minus plus, you can put the alternate signs. So derivative of first bracket, integration of second bracket. Each time you have to follow same thing. Derivative of first bracket, integration of second bracket. Derivative of first bracket, integration of second bracket. So integration of second bracket is e raised to x itself. Then plus derivative of first bracket, but now the derivative of 1 will be 0. So derivative 1 will be 0, so we will stop here. We will stop here. So limit t tends to minus infinity. First we will put 0. So 0 into e raised to 0, it is 0. Minus e raised to 0, it is 1. Okay? Then we will put limit t. So lower limit is there, so minus sign will appear. T e raised to t. Okay? And minus sign is there, so this minus will become now plus. So it is again e raised to t. Okay? So you note down this result. Now we put here the values. Limit, we will find out the value. 0 is there, minus 1 is there, in minus infinity. So what will happen now? Minus infinity is there means, because it is t into e raised to t. T into e raised to t. And if we put t equal to minus infinity, what will happen? What will happen? Here, you must note that e raised to minus infinity is always equal to 0. So this value is 0 directly. Minus plus 0. But what about this one? Because here t is minus infinity and it is t raised to 0. So you know that actually if I will write down this as separately t e raised to t, then you can see that e raised to minus t is infinity, that means it is 0 and it is infinity, so it is into the 0 into infinity form. L'Hopital rule. L'Hopital rule. And as per this rule, what will we do? What will we do? We will write down this as t upon e raised to minus t. So it will become infinity upon infinity. So this becomes limit t tends to minus infinity. E raised to t as the derivative e raised to t. T is there. So t has the derivative 1 and e raised to minus t has the derivative e raised to minus t. So here 1 upon e raised to t is minus infinity, minus plus. So e raised to infinity. E raised to infinity is what? It is infinity. So 1 upon infinity, that means it is 0. So the value of this integration is also 0. So finally the answer is minus 1. And therefore we say that we must write down this kind of symbol. I is convergent. Okay? So this is the example and this is the solution. So integrations are also very simple. So friends, at this time I will stop this lecture. In the next lecture we will see more things. Okay? And during this time, during the remaining time, you solve the examples which I have solved on the board, and also you can revise the facts